What are you most proud of out of everything that you accomplished? And I'm thinking about the number of games you played and started.
Yeah, honestly, playing one game was the coolest thing I've ever done. That first game, the first start I got, like, Iowa is just such a prestigious program, especially for O-line. So I was honored to be able to play as just a teenager, a scrawny little teenager that didn't know what he was doing and just trying to do his best for the team. So, for me, that first start's one of the coolest moments I've had, and probably the most significant accomplishment I've had. Excuse me. Not many guys get to start once, and I've got to start a lot of times, but it all started with that one.
Mason, you've played all those games at tackle, but the Seahawks have listed you as a guard. What type of exposure do you have to that position, and how do you feel like that transition is going to go?
I think I can transition to any position, honestly. Like, I've been working on a lot of interior stuff all spring, but obviously I have thousands of reps at tackle, and I've been telling anybody, like, I'll play a little tight end too. Like, I can catch the ball too. So whatever position they want me to play to help the team win, that's all that mattered to me. So, whatever Coach Benton and the rest of the staff want me to do, I'll do.
Did you practice at all at guard, or where was the first time you started training at guard?
First time, so I came into University of Iowa and trained at left guard for that entire freshman season during COVID, and so I got my first exposure there. And then, in the past couple of years, I've sporadically got a little bit reps here and there when guys go down or anything, and so just trying to do whatever I can, just get a little balance, and just really excited just to be whatever position they want me to play.
So you were guard in high school?
No, I was not, sir.
Okay.
No, I was a defensive end and a tight end.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What do you think is the strongest part of your game?
I think my ability to respond, honestly. Like, even if, I have a bad rep, which everyone does. Everyone gets got at some point. There's nobody who's perfect in this life other than Jesus Christ himself. But, for me, it's my ability to respond. If I have a bad play, one bad rep, I don't let it get the best of me. And I try to just, move on to the next play, because the next most important play is that next play that's happening, or the one that is currently happening, obviously. So, my ability to respond, I'd say that's my most, best trait.
Mason, what was it like just getting that phone call in there?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was getting down to the last tricks there, and I just had to actually believe that it was true. Someone gets on the phone, and I'm worried about a prank call or something. I know guys get prank call nowadays. It was Gray's Zabel, and which I think is hilarious. I've been telling people. So I trained with Gray's teammate, and a few of them up there in Minneapolis, and he's been a great player. It seemed like at the university, and my dream was always to play for NSU, but. Anyways, like just hearing that I'm going to be a Seahawk, and then I heard everyone cheer in the background, and then I knew it was real. So that was the biggest thing, and now, phones blowing up and everything, but, I'm just excited to be a Seahawk. That's the biggest thing.
What type of communication did you have with the Seahawks in the pre-draft process, if any?
Yeah, so, Seahawks, they sent out a survey of some sorts for me to fill out for, personal information, and then other than that, they had, I had an interview with Coach Benton and Coach Outen. With the Seahawks, and I think that went well. That was on Tuesday this past week, and then today, and up until today, I guess I should have known, man. It was just God putting the signs in front of me and showing me my path. But like they kept texting me and calling me and telling me they wanted me to be a Seahawk and everything. So just really exciting stuff from that. It's just really a blessing to be in this opportunity.
You mentioned the previous Iowa offensive linemen. Have you been in touch with any of them, or who has taken you under their wing during this process?
Yeah, I mean, I keep in touch with the ones I play with. Even if they're not in the NFL or anything, they're all my guys. But NFL wise, like Tyler Linderbaum, I was working with him just the other day on Monday, not this past Monday, but the one before that, and getting reps in with him, and mental reps, physical, just working at that was just working at center, right? And learn from him as much as I can, and when Tristan Wirfs or anyone like that comes back, I always try to pick their brains about what it's like playing O-line in the NFL, and just learn from them as much as I can, just to be the best player I can be.
Have any of those conversations changed the way that you prep or approach a game?
No, I don't think so. I think I've been kind of on my own journey, and going at it, in my own way, and using people like my position coach at Iowa, Coach George Barnett. He showed me a lot. Coach Ferentz. Coach Ferentz always working with the tackles and just figuring out what was the best, drills and technique for us to use for each different block that we have in a game, because there's a lot of them. But, relying on those coaches and then, my own instincts more than anything. But, if those guys had something that, was carried over, then, maybe I learned it from that one rep in practice.
So were you surprised that it was Gray calling you and not a coach, or what did you think then?
I pick up any number, in this process, and it said Washington on it, so I'm like, this could be someone for Miami or it could be someone for Seattle. You never know. The coaches sadly have to bounce around these days too, but then it's like this deep voice, and it's like, hey, Mason, I can't even do it. I would do it. I would butcher a Norwegian, a northern accent or something, But he's like, this is Gray Zabel. I'm here to tell you, I'm excited for you to be a Seahawk. And I'm like, well, how's that going to go? And, I didn't know. I didn't know if it was, they're signing me or something. He's like, we're about to pick you 234. I said, all right, I'll watch for it. And, as I'm on the phone, I just realized it's slowly becoming more and more real, and just so awesome to have. And, other than that, it's just been cool. It's been cool. But, hearing that, that wasn't what I expected. I don't know. I thought I'd hear from my agent or someone else, but the first person I hear is Gray Zabel, which is so funny. We've been so connected over this whole process in my mind for some reason. So,
Gray said he was going to celebrate his pick with the Busch Lights. Do you have any plans for your celebration?
Yeah, so I'll raise him one. I'm going to do a Miller Lite because that's my go-to beer nowadays. So, maybe one day when he matures a little bit, he'll grow up. I used to drink Busch Light too when I was a youngling.
So
I'm just kidding.
the first thing you said to Zabel was, well, how's that going to go?
Yeah, I said, how's that? Something like that. You don't know it until it happens, man. And, it's a crazy process. And, the doubt starts creeping in. I know a lot of guys felt that today, but, thanks to God today I got my opportunity. So I'm just really excited to be a Seahawk.
So you were prepared to sign as an undrafted, and you even talked to the agent about that yet, or no?
No, I've been just ghosting and talking to my family about other stuff in life, I guess. Everything but being a football player,
What were you doing?
Just sitting around and eating some food and, having a good time over here. And I didn't drink any Miller Lights before. I was only going to have one if I got drafted, so that's all I'm going to do.
Are you back home in Kansas, or where are you?
Yes, sir. I'm in Kansas.
Leawood?
Yes, sir. Leawood, suburb of a suburb.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And why? How have you gotten to know Gray so well through this process? You mentioned working out with the team. Yeah.
No, I haven't. I've worked out with his teammates, so I've heard things about him, and he sounds like a great guy. And everything I've heard is he works out. I know he likes. I've seen pictures. I think he's been on my Facebook suggested friends, so maybe that's something you guys can take down. But I think it's like a picture of him hunting or fishing or something. So I know he's an outdoors guy. So he's got to show me the ropes about that.
You said your goal was to play at North Dakota State. Did you sign with Iowa, or did you walk on?
Yes, sir. I signed with Iowa. They gave me a full-ride scholarship in 2019.
Yet your dream was at North Dakota State. Why was that?
They win, man. That's all I care about is win football games. So, but I think other guys who maybe go to NDSU would choose Iowa too. I know Coach Polasek as well up there, but Iowa's been a great place to be for me, and I've grown so much as a man there, and can't thank those coaches and players enough for what they've done for me and through me. I hope I can just represent them the best way.
And you have your degree, correct?
Yes, sir. I have 2 degrees.
Sports communications?
Sports management.
Oh,
Yeah, sport and recreation management. So, we'll put that on hold for a while and just focus on being a football player for now.
What's your second degree in?
The same thing, just in the Masters, man.
Oh, you got your master's already.
Yes, sir. Hopefully he gives me a raise one day way down the road after I'm done with the Seahawks.
Just out of curiosity, have you done any snapping as a center at all?
Yes, sir. Every day I do position drills. I do snaps. Can I say one thing? This is the best run media thing I've ever been a part of. So I'm excited.
Thanks for sucking up to us.
Normally I get asked what's my favorite color and what's my spirit animal, stuff like that.
Well, thanks for sucking up from day one. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
way to become our favorite.
Just getting my brownie points in early. No
Yeah,
worries.
it worked. Thank you.